maybe go on ahead and download the book. Yesterday we were reading from the book. We're going to go back there today, and I'm hoping that you all have taken that moment to read it, because in reading it, a couple of things will happen. The first thing that will happen is that you'll be spending some time with yourself. You know, most people don't realize that one of the reasons and one of the causes of mental illness is the fact that the brain needs to be developing pathways daily. Needs to be developing pathways daily. If there's no new learning and the brain is not developing new pathways, guess what happens? It starts to feed on itself. It is what it is. And it's just like your body. If anybody knows anything about fitness out there, when in the absence of carbohydrates, the body starts feeding on on fat sources, right? You would think. It's not what happens. What happens is the body starts to produce what's called ketones because it's been feeding on protein sources. Protein sources are much easier to break down. Okay, here we go. Okay, the hierarchy is this: the body likes carbohydrates, goes from carbohydrates to fats. Okay, and in the absence of fats, it'll go and feed on protein. So if any of you are trying to get in shape, if any of you are out there are trying to get in shape, signals just going in and out. Of course, technical difficulties, always technical difficulties. Anyway, if you're trying to get in shape, trying to rely on caloric deficit, that's not a good idea. That is not a good idea. What you should do is limit them so that the body has a chance to feed on the fat. Is that all right? That makes sense? Okay. You put carbohydrates because carbohydrates is immediate fuel. You don't need that much. Remember something. Fat is energy storage. You want to get thin, use up what's in the cabinet. I'm sure that I can say this is that back in the day, as a young man, my mother had this huge pantry in the basement. And what would happen was once we went did our shopping, where there were two places that food would go, and one was in the cabinets in the kitchen, and then the other one was in this pantry. Let me fix this up. Ah, trying to get it right, people. Trying to get it right. Y'all pray with. We had this big pantry downstairs. And when things upstairs ran out, she would say, "Go down there and get me so and so, whatever." Okay. She said, "Go on downstairs and get this from downstairs." And of course, you know, we go on, scoot down there, it had a lock on it. And you were privileged if you could get that. You were privileged if you could get access to the key. So understand the body works like that. But anyway, let's go with what we were doing today. If you have the book, we are on page 29, and the title of it is The Inner Enemy. All right, let's share the screen. The Inner Enemy. Okay. Now, as usual, most writers, and I'm giving you a little piece, most authors who start giving principles on things always give you an example of what they were talking about, and then from that they derive and they gather the information that they need to explain their point. Okay. In this case, it was a guy named Xenophon. Okay. And quick backstory. Xenophon wasn't a soldier. He came from a rich family. He had things that were good, but he decided that he was going to some exploration, take an adventure. He was always traveling to see Socrates, and at this particular time, Cyrus wanted to punish some cities that were being rebellious, and so he decided to hire some guys and pay them. So he's going to make mercenaries out of them. Well, as the fight ensues, as they go into the fight, Cyrus is killed. Xenophon found himself in a peculiar situation because what he had to do was he had to not only survive and get back home, but he may have had to wage some war. Okay. And so where we're at now is Cyrus is dead, and they had planned. Okay. And understand that how mercenaries work. Mercenaries work, they get paid for doing whatever they're hired to do. And so in here, he says that the mercenaries were getting upset. So all he did was threw some more money at them, and they would continue to fight. I don't know if you, I don't know if you're picking up on where I'm going with this. Okay, right here you see fighting for money rather than for a purpose or cause, unable to distinguish between friend and foe. They had gotten lost. Where are we in that paradigm? You so busy taking stuff, so busy wanting to get yours, and you forget that you're in the middle of a war. Okay, as Tashreeq Bey would say you're under occupation. And if you don't believe it, say something about the C-19. Say something about the V scene. Y'all aren't listening to me. You don't believe that you're under occupation? Go somewhere that requires a mask and don't wear one. Y'all not listen. Let's keep it moving. All right. Now, understand that Xenophon, remember, he was a philosopher. He also had studied political science because that's what Socrates was about. And so he developed a plan. Okay. And he said, look at what it says. It says Xenophon didn't want to die in this disgraceful way. He was no military man, but he knew philosophy and the way men think. And he believed that the Greeks concentrated on the enemies who wanted to kill them. They would become alert and creative. If they focused on the vile treachery of the Persians, they would grow angry, and their anger would motivate them. They had to stop being confused mercenaries and go back to being Greeks, the polar opposite of the faithless Persians. What they needed was clarity and direction. Okay, so he called a meeting of the surviving officers and stated his plan. We would declare war without parley on the Persians. No more thoughts of bargaining or debate. We will waste no more time on argument, accusation among ourselves. Every ounce of our energy will be spent on the Persians. We will be as inventive and inspired as our ancestors at Marathon, who fought off a vastly larger Persian army. We will burn our wagons, live off the land, move fast. We will not for 1 second lay down our arms or forget the dangers around us. It is us or them, life or death, good or evil. Should any man try to confuse us with clever talk or vague ideas of appeasement, we will declare him too stupid and cowardly to be on our side, and we will drive him away. Let the Persians make us merciless. We must be consumed with one idea: getting home alive. Okay? The officers knew he was right. The next day, Persian officers came to see him, offered to act as an ambassador between them and Artaxerxes, following Xenophon's counsel. He was quickly and rudely driven away. It was now war or nothing else. Roused to action, the Greeks elected leaders, Xenophon among them, and began to march home. Forced to depend on their wits, they quickly learned to adapt to the terrain, to avoid battle, to move at night. They successfully eluded the Persians, beating them to the key mountain pass and moving through it before they could get caught. Although the enemy tribes still lay between them and Greece, the dreaded Persian army was now behind them. It took several years, but almost all of them entered Greece alive. Now, understand this right here. Political thought, political instinct prove themselves theoretically and practically in the ability to distinguish friend and enemy. The high points of politics are simultaneously the moments in which the enemy is, in concrete clarity, recognized as an enemy. Now, I want you all to grab onto this as you read it, because we go to sleep at night, and everything's hunky dory. Okay, and we say this prayer in the morning. Lord, Lord, I'm glad you woke me up this morning, started me on my way, got the use and activity of our limbs. You're thanking God for all this stuff, but guess what? When you go through the course of the day, you don't use them for much. You don't use them for much. You're a cog in the wheel if your brain is not thinking of being free 24/7. Y'all are not listening to me. I'm reminded of the movie Roots. And anybody who's this age probably seen it at least twice. Okay, Kunta Kinte. Okay, the man was bound and determined to get back home. Okay, he was so bound and determined to get back home that it started the day that they tried to rename him. Are you listening? The minute they tried to take his identity, the fight was on. And even though he called himself Toby on the outside, he was still Kunta Kinte on the inside. A man who had no other goal than to be back by the Kembe Balongo. Y'all are not listening to me. Okay. Somewhere along the line, we have lost that ability to think and concentrate on focus on only one goal. So I would say that they were successful in distracting you. Okay. There was a time when the guys used to gather together and they see a girl walk by, and whether you ladies knew it or not, you were being critiqued. It may have came off as jeers and whistles, but you were being critiqued. Okay. And there had to be a certain standard. If you didn't meet that standard, nobody they didn't want to, they want nothing to do with you. Okay. Trying to get this in the right place. We do too much. Okay. Just so we're clear. Okay. And so with it, like I say, with every writer, they interpret what they've written. And we want you to understand this. The writer, when he told the story, was talking about a group of people waging war against another group of people. But the principle is understanding who the enemy is. Okay? Understanding who the enemy is. And for those of us who are martial artists, y'all are not listening to me. For those of you who are martial artists, you recognize that certain people have certain skill sets. And because they have certain skill sets, those are the people to mess with. Are you listening to me? Those are not the people to mess with. And the reason they're not the people to mess with is because you will certainly receive something you don't want if you do, because their skill set is just higher. They're just better. However, if you are instructed to get in the ring with them, you'll go. And the one thing that many of us do not ever want is to be in a multiple attacker situation. Are you hearing me? You don't want to be in a multiple attacker situation. And the reason why you don't want to be in a multiple attacker situation is because you have two opponents that you're dealing with. They're not the same. One moves one particular way, one moves another particular way. Your senses have to be keen, your senses have to be honed in, and you have to be in that frame of reference that you can see around you and hear everything. Not much different than what you're dealing with right now, right? Okay. You got an external enemy that's trying to kill you. I just want to instill that in you. He's trying to kill you. Point blank, period. And I don't care what anybody else says, and I don't care about censoring and all that kind of stuff. That enemy's trying to kill you, y'all. He's trying to kill you. And so you got that enemy. Then you got little piddly little imps that run around like, I don't like this. I don't like that. People who say things you don't like. People who talk behind your back. People who are, are constantly plotting to to do things against you, not to make you paranoid or anything like that. Because remember something, we establish relationships with people, and based on that relationship is what you're getting out of it. So if you got somebody that's stabbing you in the back, lying to you, it's because you made them a friend. Hello, you made them a friend, and they're clearly your enemy. That's what this is talking about, right? You got somebody who dislikes you, who's throwing shade all the time. Who, if you're a supervisor, I don't know. A lot of you supervisors got people that work under you that just not gonna listen to anything you say. Not gonna do anything. Okay, cause you to get written up and all kind of stuff. Cause you to have to write them up. Cause you to have to write them up. Then they want to get all mad at you because you had to do what you had to do. We got a lot of people like that. But anyway, let's read this interpretation. Life is battle and struggle. Did y'all hear that? Life is battle and struggle. The Bible says it like this: a man born of a woman is many days and full of trouble. So, guess what, folks? Here's a side note: truth can come from anywhere. Okay. And if you think if you're a so-called Christian or whatever persuasion you happen to be, in your principal book has a principle in it. Just remember something that came from the mouth of what, one person sent and was inspired by the creator. So do you think that the inspiration from the creator is isolated to that one person? If you do, you're a fool. 30 billion people, a trillion people on the planet almost. And there are some people we haven't even counted because we didn't do a census of some of those islands where people are. We haven't counted everybody. But I'll tell you this, there's enough people here that the number you can't count. And so don't you think that the creator is revealing stuff to them too? This is how we become fragmented. You ain't the only one. So guess what? Life is a battle and a struggle, and you will constantly find yourself facing bad situations, destructive relationships, dangerous engagements. Are you hearing? It ain't hunky dory because you who you are. How you confront these difficulties will determine your fate. As Xenophon said, your obstacles are not rivers or mountains or other people. Your obstacle is yourself. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay? And the word high there, people, is not a proximity word. The word high, the word high there talks about it levels. Spiritual wickedness in more advanced circles. In other words, they are better thinkers than you. Y'all are not hearing what I'm saying. Because there are some people that think they're smart. Think they're smart, but they're still in trouble. And sometimes the thing is, it's a matter of you just standing up. drowning in 3 feet of water. All you had to do is stand up. Watch this. I hope you're reading with me. If you feel lost and confused, if you lose your sense of direction, if you cannot tell the difference between friend and foe, you have only yourself to blame. Remember what I said? I've been saying it since my first broadcast. See, y'all think wrestling with people messing with you. No, you're wrestling with your behavior because how you respond to them is attributed to your own thought processes. One thing I learned about martial arts, you can do anything you want to do as long as you understand that it's your conduct that's going to determine the outcome. You don't keep the left up, you get smacked in the side of the face. Hello. You don't know how to avoid the front kick. You better have some tough abs. You better have your body training in line, your body toughening. This is how we knew advanced ranks. You get hit in the chest and how you respond to it. Got tears in your eyes because of the pain instead of learning how to take it. Take it now, cry later. By telling you not to cry. But what we are saying is this. It's real simple. You hear what he said? Are you reading it? You hope you're reading it with me. So y'all can't say, oh, well, he making that up. It says, think of yourself always about to go into battle. Everything depends on your frame of mind and how you look at the world. A shift of perspective can transform you from a passive and confused mercenary into a motivated and creative fighter. We are defined by our relationship to other people. As children, we develop an identity by differentiating ourselves from others, even to the point of pushing them away, rejecting them, rebelling. The more clearly you recognize who you do not want to be, then the clearer the sense of identity and purpose will be. Without a sense of that polarity, without an enemy to react against, you are lost as the Greek mercenaries. Duped by other people's treachery, you hesitate at the fatal moment and descend into whining and argument. Focus on an enemy. It can be someone who blocks your path or sabotages you, or subtly or obviously. It can be someone who has hurt you, or someone who has fought you unfairly. It can be a value or an idea that you loathe and that you see in an individual or group. It can be an abstraction, stupidity, smugness, vulgar materialism. Do not listen to people who say that the distinction between friend and enemy is primitive and passe. They are just disguising their fear of conflict behind a front of false warmth. They are trying to push you off course to infect you with the vagueness that inflicts them. Once you feel clear and motivated, you will have space for true friendship and true compromise. Your enemy is a polar star that guides you. Given that direction, you can enter battle. See the scripture? He that is not with me is against me. Why is this important, people? Why is this important? We're going to have to make some decisions real soon. Okay? We're going to make them more sooner than later. And I see a lot of passivity among our people. Lots of it. People are happy, just going along to get along. And despite all of the, uh, despite all of the fear, despite all of the misinformation, when I encourage reading, I'm saying that there's one thing that needs to stop, and it's that idea that black people don't, dark Americans don't read. Am I blowing smoke here? Black dark Americans don't read. Yet, check this out. Here's the hypocrisy. You won't read, but you'll send your kids to a place that makes them read. And then you'll try to push them and pump them to do homework. Do your homework, girl. Do your homework, boy. And your children end up more intelligent than you because you don't have sense enough to understand that what's good for them is good for you. I am the proudest of my daughters because their mother took time to teach them how to read early. Now those girls are some brilliant thinkers. Sometimes they like anything else, they'll use it for whatever purpose, and they making their own way. Okay, make your own way. You got all of the tools. Sometimes they need some shocks, like the saying goes. If you don't know who the enemy is by now, then you might as well just buy you some burial insurance because you're gonna end up dead. I'm just here to say it just like that. I don't make the rules. It is what it is. Imagine a tiger that doesn't know how to fight. Imagine a snake with no venom. I'm talking about a viper. There are some snakes that don't have venom, but I'm talking about one that's supposed to have venom that doesn't have any. Imagine a crocodile or a caiman with no teeth. You need another example? See, we just we need to step up, folks. We need to do better, and I think that this book will kind of help us. See the next section? A little bit of this, and then we'll try to wrap this up. The outer enemy. Okay. Now, this one talks about Margaret Thatcher. Okay. And notice, like like Xenophon, she is the kind of person that comes from a place that nobody expected the kind of person that she was to be. Okay. I am by nature warlike. To attack is among my instincts. To be able to be an enemy, that presupposes a strong nature. It is, in any event, a condition of every strong nature. It needs resistances. Consequently, it seeks resistance. The strength of one who attacks has the position he needs, a kind of gauge. Every growth reveals itself in seeking out a powerful opponent or problem. For a philosopher who is warlike also challenges problems to a duel. The undertaking is to master not any resistances that happen to present themselves, but those against which one has to bring all one's strength, suppleness, and mastery of weapons to master equal opponents. That was Nietzsche. But guess what? There was another group that said that exact same thing. If any of you read The Art of War, okay, all great warriors, Hannibal said the same thing. You got to go all in. You got to go all in. And you know what? You got to look for trouble. You got to look for trouble. If you don't have a motivation, what are you there for? What are you there for? I mean, you just have to ask yourself that question. Without a motivation, why are you there? It is what it is. There are people that do some really crappy jobs. You know why they do them? Children, okay? Wives, bills. It is why a lot of people do the things they do. So, what's your motivation? Okay, For every man that's watching this right now, let me tell you what your motivation should be. Want to hear it? Okay, here it goes. Your first motivation is to reestablish yourself as the ruler of this planet. Why? Because the creator in every spectrum put you there. Now, does that mean that you're superior to the oppressing of other people? No. But you are superior in that you understand how things are supposed to go and you understand how things are supposed to be arranged. You have a very powerful ally, but she's untrained. I'm talking about your woman. She's a very powerful ally. Okay. I learned a lot from the women that I've been around in my life. Got 5 sisters. Okay. And I encounter uh, ladies over the course of life. Women are very intelligent. Women can listen here. If you're studying with a girl, you could take your letter grade up 2 points, 2 whole letter grades just studying work. You got to see, start studying with a lady, and pretty soon you'll have an A. I guarantee it. Why? Because she has a nurturing influence. Okay, nurturing influence can make information pass through the barriers that we put up with our aggression. Okay, you start men. If you stand up and start acting right, you don't have to say anything. You just bring your A game. You bring your A game. What happens? She starts watching you. She starts watching you. She starts respecting you. She starts respecting you, and she tried. She wants to get with you, but she has requirements. There are requirements that you have for her to be with you. Are you listening? You can't demand anything of her until you're straight. Okay. And when you start talking, pretty soon what she'll say, okay. She'll throw her hands up. You don't believe it? You don't believe it? Try it. If you're in a relationship right now and that relationship is going rocky, shut your mouth and just be about your business. Okay? You be as professional as you can. Stop snarling. Stop acting like you don't have good sense. And greet her every day like somebody you care about. And if you're still there, more than likely you do. And however long it takes, bro, however long it takes. If she's barking at you about getting a job, listen here. You can make one. Y'all are not listening to me. Job. You don't always have to go and fill out a job application. If you got $40 in your pocket, you can go buy some window washing tools. Okay? You can make arrangements with somebody to do some cleaning. I know there's temporary agencies in every town. If you can't get a job at a temporary agency, you really stunk. Okay? And if you're a felon, you just got out, you just got out, got out from the lockup, huh? Now people are looking. They're looking for people like that. Why? Because they understand that you really want a job and need a job because you needed to stay out of prison. If you're on parole, see, we got to start being the kind of people they want to. You're not that kind of guy. So then you want to come and demand things of her. Oh no, bro. Bring your A game. Stop playing around. Okay. There's no better feeling. There's no better feeling than when things get out of hand and you ain't got to say. You just look at her, give her the signal, and she'll just calm right down. Why? Respect. See, because it ain't about you being in power. It's about the system being whole and functional. Okay. And likewise with you women. Listen here. Stay out the damn street. I said what I said. Stay out the damn streets. A lot of you are beautiful and you're putting your pictures up everywhere. Guess what? The more pictures you put up, the closer you get to disqualification. Okay? Because I know this for absolute certainty. You go to a grocery store, are you listening? When you go to the grocery store and you look on the shelf for some food, There's a reason why they front face, because there's stuff in the back that's probably close to the sell by date need to be thrown out. Okay. So what the grocer does is they to put the new stuff in the back and put the old stuff in the front. But see, people are smart. They go reach in the back for the new stuff. Okay. It's the same with guys. Are more attracted to women that they see less of. Okay. Because if the secret's out, where's the quest? He wants you to be special. Well, if you got 35,000 likes and 50,000 followers, you ain't special no more. See, that's what you got to understand. What are you doing, and what's your goal by doing that? If your goal is to show off in front of these other cackling hens, then you've succeeded. But is that practical in finding a relationship? Heck no. Okay. I am grateful to have a woman I have. A very beautiful woman. And you know what? She probably has all of 30 pictures, okay, that are on social media. And most of the ones she's taken have been with me. See? It is what it is. Okay. Women, you have to start listening and understanding what men value. Okay. This thing ain't about you. Okay. And if you can't take one for the team, you don't need to be part of any team. And that's what's happened. You're being part of your own team. You're a force of one. Okay. And don't get me started on the body count. Okay. Men and women have different missions in life. If you're trying to compete with him, oh, I can do this, you can do it, I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, you can, but should you? That's the whole point. Yeah, you can do anything, but the question is, should you be doing it? That's the question. Should you be doing it? So, getting back to this strategies of war. You want to be the best you can be, you're going to have to get rid of some of them inner enemies. You're going to have to get rid of some of that greediness. You're going to have to get rid of some of that lust. You're going to have to get rid of, matter of fact, all of it. Okay. The scriptures tell you exactly what you need to get rid of. Okay. Scriptures tell you exactly what you need to get rid of. All right. Let me do this right quick. Here are some things you need to get rid of. See that? That all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, evil speaking be put away with you with all malice. Be put away from you. Well, wait a minute. Let's go up there. Let's go up further. Let's back up a little bit. Okay. Put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. Well, let's get that in a more contemporary version. Okay. Let the spirit change your way of thinking and make you into a new person. You were created to be like God, and so you must please him and be truly holy. You were told that your foolish desires will destroy you and that you must give up your old way of life with all its bad habits. See that? I don't make it, you can't make this stuff up. Okay. You can't begin. You can't begin to be the best if you still got all this garbage you hanging on. Y'all are not listening to me. Let's go back up. I like this version of the Bible. I like this version of the Bible. Check this out, right? Verse 14, it says, we must stop acting like children. What? I want. Give it to me, give it to me. I gotta have it. Or I'm gonna throw a tantrum. We must not let deceitful people trick us with their false teachings, which are like winds that toss us around from place to place. Now, this next one gonna blow you away. If you're trying to do anything right, this is gonna blow you away. Look at this. Love should always make us tell the truth. Then we will grow in every way to be more like Christ, the head of the body. Wait a minute. Hold it. Stop being proud. Do you know a little yeast can spread through the whole batch of dough? Get rid of that old yeast. Then you'll be fresh, made like fresh bread without yeast. And that is what you are. Our Passover lamb Christ, who has already been sacrificed. Listen to this one. Don't celebrate the festival by being evil and sinful, which is like serving bread made with yeast. Be pure, truthful, and celebrate by using bread made without yeast. No ulterior motives. Nothing underneath it. Okay? So let's try another one. My friend, stop thinking like children. Think like mature people and be as innocent as tiny babies. Holy bananas. Hey, the Bible's something else. Watch this. Hey, verse 31. Stop being bitter and angry and mad at others. Don't yell at one another or curse each other or ever be rude. What? Don't ever be rude? What? You mean tell me I can't give a person a piece of my mind? Ugh, holy bananas. Well, we got another one. Wait a minute, hold it. God is angry with people who disobey him by doing these things. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Don't be controlled by your body. Kill every desire for the wrong kind of sex. Don't be immoral or indecent or have any evil thoughts. Don't be greedy, which is the same as worshiping idols. Does it say being greedy is worshiping idols? No, it says it's the same thing. They occupy the same definitive space. But you must stop doing such things. You must quit being angry, hateful, and evil. You must no longer say insulting or cruel things about others and stop lying to each other. You have given up the old way of life with its habits. Wow, that's rich. We have some more? Okay, we're done. We're done. All right, folks, let's get up out of here. But remember, if you want to get if you want to get if you want to get the if you want to get the book, here we go. Go to PDF Drive. All right, PDF Drive. It's a free download. All right. Remember, leave here. Guess what? No excuse for bad behavior. No excuse. Okay. Stay tuned tomorrow for part 3. So, you want to contribute to this thing? Remember, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, like it and share it and subscribe it. Subscribe to it. Follow us on YouTube at King Kadesh, King of Kadesh. And if you want to support this thing, finances, $2 or $3, $5. I'm not asking for a vow because that's not where we are. Right? If you have any questions, you want to be featured on the show, send me an email. Okay. All music and all references are used by the Use Act. In other words, we can use this for education and edification purposes. All right. So, with all that being said, I want to bid you all a good afternoon.